The Telegraph has uncovered a chilling UK matchmaking site, Nicogram, touting shy, untouched Muslim brides and allegedly features tips on wife-beating. It even features a suspended NHS medic promoting pseudoscience and misogyny. MPs and critics slam it as vile and deeply disturbing, raising alarm over gender equality and radical ideology right here in Britain. Joining me now to discuss this is a culture editor at A Further Inquiry, Khadija Khan. Khadija, thank you so much for joining me. I saw this last night on social media when the Telegraph put it out. I've read the Telegraph today, and frankly, I just find it absolutely horrifying. What do you make of this story?
Thank you, Dawn, for having me. It's wild, humiliating, disgraceful. It's an affront to women's dignity. Whatever this site is promoting, it's not only misogyny. This is religious misogyny in its, blatant manifestation. We are condemning these things because we find them abhorrent and appalling and against gender equality. However, we need to understand that as this website they claim that they are promoting religious values, and whatever they are doing, it's according to their religious belief. We need to look deeper into this thing, that on the pretext of religious freedom, certain sections of the society have been given too much leeway to live according to their cultural and religious belief in disregard of the law of the land, British values, human right principle. And it's not a wake-up call. I think it's too little, too late for us.
But Khadija, this site was set up in 2022, so it's fairly new. And it is there in the UK. Now, if I was reading this, it's sort of like, it's set up in Iran or Afghanistan or Syria or any of those places, I'd think, oh, my God, that's just absolutely brilliant. But this is in the UK. Why is it not being shut down? I mean, there's a piece in here, they give you advice on how to beat your wife, which, by the way, guys, is illegal. And it says, oh, don't use a baseball bat. There are other ways of doing it. I mean, how is this happening here?
This is UK, and as you said, it's illegal to abuse women in any way. However, these people are asserting their religious right under, they are using British law pertaining to religious freedom, and they want to exercise their religious right in its fullest. And in doing so, they are discriminating against women. I mean, if you look at the manifesto of this website, it's all about men. It's all about the pleasure of men and how to use women and abuse women in order to make her obedient. And this is all about misogyny and religious misogyny. And on the point that why this has been allowed in the UK, this is really interesting, actually, because we are living in a highly polarized society at the moment where differences are valued more than similarities. And this society has become a breeding ground for the nefarious elements who seek to impose their understanding, their interpretation of religion onto the wider society. We have parallel legal system as Sharia codes. We have educational system based on religious beliefs, which are incompatible with human rights and with British values. They are operating in plain sight and contributing to further division in society. And this disproportionate emphasis on religious freedom is a green light to these nefarious elements, these extremist and misogynistic elements, to further advance their agenda under the pretext of exercising their religious right. So I think we need to make clear that having religious freedom is one thing. However, manifestation of one's religious freedom or religious right or religious belief is another. We cannot let people manifest their religious belief in a way which is an infringement on the vulnerable section of the society. And if you look deeply into manifestation and into the operation of this website, It's deeply misogynistic, deeply anti-women. And just imagine those women who chose to, or who are lured to, into joining this site, or into meeting, these Muslim men who are interested in having virgin wives. I mean, just imagine the state of mind of those women. What kind of situation they
Exactly.
have to go through, and it's all happening under the name of religious freedom and in the name of religious discourse. And we need to understand that we are living in a very precarious time now. The government is seeking to define Islamophobia and behind a closed door, and under the definition of Islamophobia, criticism of Islam would be prohibited. We wouldn't be able to criticize these things the way
We wouldn't
we
be
are
having this
today.
conversation.
Yeah, exactly. The way we are criticizing these abusive practices, misogynistic practices today, we wouldn't be able to do that, because that would be considered Islamophobia, because we are trying to stereotyping Muslims because Muslims do certain things. I mean, this is a problem when there is a...
Sorry to interrupt, Khadija. If there was, say, I don't know, if Tommy Robinson, right, for example, had set up a site advocating beating your wife, or sort of like, breaking the laws, polygamy is illegal in this country, by the way, as well, breaking those laws, they would have shut it down tomorrow. Are our government frightened of upsetting that Muslim vote?
Couldn't agree more with you, Dawn. I know that this has been the struggle of my life, to be very honest, as a journalist, as a human rights activist, as a women's rights activist, that whenever I talk about misogyny, everybody is on my side. Law is on my side. Law enforcers are on my side. However, when I talk about religious misogyny, which stems from the religious discourse, suddenly everybody leaves me alone in my fight, in my struggle. And there are many women who are facing this problem, because whenever they want to talk about misogyny within religious discourse, they have been shut down. They have been told, shut up, in certain council meeting in Bradford, because they wanted to talk about women's rights abuses in the community, in their own community. So this is all about vote bank. It's all about protecting religious sensibilities of fanatics, because they cannot offend them, because there is a problem. They would create some unpleasant situation. To avoid unpleasant situation, they always throw vulnerable people, such as women in this case, under the bus.
Khadija, we are running out of time. I could talk to you for hours on this subject. I find it, as a woman, I find it absolutely infuriating. And I know you have had death threats, people trying to shut you up as well for talking about this issue. Khadija Khan, thank you very much for joining me today. OK, now a spokesman for the platform has said Nicogram operates strictly within the UK law and Islamic principles. We provide a religious matrimonial service that reflects the values and preferences of many practicing Muslims. All participation is voluntary, and our platform facilitates lawful introductions between consenting adults who seek to marry in accordance with their faith. We do not promote abuse, coercion or illegality. We only discuss and endorse faith-based preferences that are protected under religious freedom. OK, gbnews.com/your say. I'm sure many of you want to have a say on that subject.